Is is for Apricot Chapter 2 entitled Crack. One thing which Apricot loved to do was to sleep. He had amazing dreams, dreams of adventure and excitement. He was always free in his dreams, not bored and lonely in his rusty cage. Then, just as he was drifting off, he heard an unfamiliar voice. It was the voice of a young girl whom Apricot didn't recognize, but she sounded kind. His master had finished mowing the grass, and now he had sat in his favorite armchair with a bottle of beer in his hand, and Apricot could breathe a sigh of relief and began to think clearly. The lovely looking girl was now looking into his cage with a warm smile on her face. "Hello," she said, "what's your name?" "I'm Apricot," thought Apricot accurately, but the girl had no way of knowing his name. All that he could do was to give her his best loving and cute look. "I'm Heidi," she said, and she held out a bunch of lovely looking grass like flowers. Apricot was extremely hungry, and it didn't take him long to finish it all off. To Apricot, it was like the world's finest chocolate, delicious and satisfying. Heidi sounded like a funny name to Apricot, but then again, he was sure that Apricot sounded funny to most people. His previous owner had given him the unusual name before she had passed away, but now his new owner never called him anything. All he ever did was shout and snore, and Apricot preferred him when he snored. Apricot knew that he'd been named after a kind of fruit, and he never liked that. He'd never tried the fruit, he didn't want to feel like a cannibal. Heidi kept chatting to him, and it was obvious that she was a lot kinder than his master, who wasn't kind at all. She stroked Apricot through his cage, and it was a lovely feeling. A feeling he wasn't used to. It made him feel warm and fuzzy inside. Then a familiar shout rang out. "I must go," she whispered to a sad looking Apricot. "I'll be back tomorrow and I'll bring some treats," she said, smiling. Apricot watched her disappear through a hole in the fence. With her long blonde hair and her soft skin, she looked like an angel, thought Apricot. His so-called owner woke up and he looked down at his bottle of beer dribbling onto the grass, and he kicked it like a football into the distance. And then he marched back into the house to get another. Heidi heard the commotion, and she watched through the fence. Poor, poor Apricot, she thought, as the man swore like a sailor. And then he started up the lawnmower, and it coughed and spluttered back to life and sent decapitated grass high into the summer air.